The mid-1960s marked a fervent era in American automotive history. It was a time of fierce competition, as manufacturers battled for supremacy on the streets and drag strips. Chevrolet, a key player, needed a powerful contender, so they introduced the Chevrolet 396 cubic-inch V8 engine. This engine quickly gained a formidable reputation and earned an interesting nickname, the Porcupine. This moniker referred to the unique angle of its valve stems, which appeared to stick out like the quills of a porcupine, a distinctive visual cue for those in the know. But the engine wasn't just about looks, it was about raw, unadulterated power, designed to make a statement. The 396 Porcupine engine was more than just another displacement option. It represented Chevrolet's serious commitment to the burgeoning muscle car market, which demanded engines that could deliver thrilling acceleration and a commanding presence. The 396 was engineered from the ground up as a big block. This distinguished it from the smaller displacement small block V8s that had served Chevrolet well. The big block architecture allowed for larger bores, longer strokes, and ultimately, much greater potential for power and torque. It was a direct response to the powerful engines emerging from Ford and Chrysler, setting the stage for legendary automotive duels. Its arrival was perfectly timed with the peak of the muscle car craze. Young buyers, and those young at heart, craved vehicles that offered an exhilarating driving experience. The 396 provided just that, becoming a symbol of American engineering prowess. It also represented a certain rebellious spirit associated with high-performance automobiles of the period. The sound of a 396 coming to life was unmistakable. Its deep, rumbling idle promised immense power waiting to be unleashed with a simple press of the accelerator pedal. This auditory signature contributed significantly to its growing legend among enthusiasts. The legendary status of the 396 Porcupine wasn't solely built on factory claims, it was cemented by the experiences of those who owned and raced these machines. Word of mouth spread tales of its impressive performance. Magazine road tests often struggled to capture the engine's full potential due to various factors, sometimes including conservative factory tuning. However, on the street and at the drag strip, the 396 proved itself repeatedly. It became a cornerstone of Chevrolet's performance image, an image that would carry the brand through one of the most exciting decades in automotive history, leaving an indelible mark. The Chevrolet 396 V8 engine, first introduced for the 1965 model year, boasted impressive technical specifications for its time. It featured a bore of 4.094 inches and a stroke of 3.76 inches. This combination resulted in an actual displacement of 396.7 cubic inches, commonly rounded down to 396. Different versions of the engine were offered with varying horsepower and torque ratings. The L37 version, for instance, might produce around 325 horsepower. The more potent L35 could offer 360 horsepower. The top-tier L78, a truly high-performance variant, was often rated at 375 horsepower, though many believed this to be a conservative figure. These engines featured robust cast-iron blocks and heads, designed for durability under stress. Several iconic Chevrolet models had the honor of being powered by the 396 Big Block. The 1965 Chevrolet Corvette was one of the first recipients, where it was known as the L78 option. This immediately elevated the Corvette's performance credentials. Perhaps most famously, the Chevelle SS 396 became almost synonymous with the engine. From 1966 onwards, the Chevelle SS 396 was a dedicated model line. It offered various states of tune for the 396, making big block power accessible to a wider audience. The full-size Chevrolet line, including the Impala and Caprice, also offered the 396 as an option, providing surprising performance in larger packages. The Chevrolet Camaro, introduced for the 1967 model year, also received the 396 as a potent option in its SS Supersport package. This transformed the pony car into a serious street contender, capable of challenging Mustangs and Barracudas equipped with their largest engines. The El Camino, Chevrolet's car-based pickup, could also be optioned with the 396, creating a unique blend of utility and high performance. The availability of the 396 across these diverse platforms demonstrated Chevrolet's strategy. They aimed to infuse performance throughout their lineup, catering to different buyer needs and preferences while maintaining a common thread of powerful V8 engineering. The 396 engine didn't just provide power, it defined the character of these vehicles. A Chevelle SS 396 wasn't just a Chevelle with a bigger engine, it was an SS 396, a name that carried weight and commanded respect. The distinctive rumble, the surge of acceleration, and the very presence of the big block under the hood contributed to a unique driving experience. These cars became legends in their own right, largely thanks to the heart that beat within them. The 396 was instrumental in establishing Chevrolet's dominance in the muscle car segment during the latter half of the 1960s, creating a legacy that enthusiasts still celebrate today. The story of the 396 Porcupine is intertwined with whispers and an air of deliberate secrecy, particularly concerning its potential in professional racing. There were persistent rumors about an alleged NASCAR ban, or at least significant restrictions, placed upon the engine shortly after its introduction. While concrete proof of an outright formal ban specifically targeting the 396 in its early street forms is elusive, the competitive environment of NASCAR was complex. Homologation rules required manufacturers to produce a certain number of street versions of any engine they wished to race. Chevrolet's own internal politics and adherence to the AMA, Automobile Manufacturers Association, racing ban, which was officially in place until 1963, but had lingering effects, also played a role in their racing participation. Adding to the engine's mystique was Chevrolet's well-known practice of underrating the horsepower of its performance engines. The L78 version of the 396, for example, was officially rated at 375 horsepower. However, many engine builders and dynamometer tests suggested that its true output was significantly higher, possibly well over 400 horsepower. This underrating was a common tactic among manufacturers during the muscle car era. It helped with insurance premiums for buyers and sometimes created a more favorable classification in certain racing series. For Chevrolet, it also added an element of surprise for unsuspecting competitors on the street. The secretive nature surrounding the development and true capabilities of the 396 further fueled its legendary status. Chevrolet engineers, particularly those working under Zora Arkus Duntov and Vince Piggins, were masters of backdoor development. They often worked on high-performance projects with a degree of autonomy and discretion. Information about advanced designs like the Porcupine heads was not always widely disseminated, even within the company. This created an environment where rumors could flourish and the engine's actual potential became a subject of much speculation and debate among car enthusiasts and the automotive press. This combination of alleged racing restrictions, deliberately conservative horsepower ratings, and a generally secretive development process contributed significantly to the aura surrounding the 396 Porcupine. It became an engine that was perceived as almost too potent, too advanced for the establishment to handle without. Whether these perceptions were entirely accurate or embellished over time, they undeniably enhanced the engine's appeal. It was the forbidden fruit, the powerhouse whose full story was never officially told, making it all the more desirable and fascinating for generations of muscle car aficionados. The mystery was, and remains, a key part of its enduring charm. To fully understand the 396 Porcupine, one must look at its close relative, the 427 Mystery Motor. This engine, officially known as the Mark II, appeared briefly but spectacularly in 1963. It was Chevrolet's clandestine return to NASCAR racing. The 427 Mystery Motor was a radical departure from previous Chevrolet 5.8 designs. It featured the innovative canted valve cylinder heads that would later define the Porcupine nickname for the production big blocks. These engines were hand-built and supplied to select racing teams, causing a sensation at the Daytona 500 before Chevrolet officially withdrew from racing again. The 396 Porcupine, which debuted as the Mark IV Big Block in 1965, was a direct descendant of the 427 Mystery Motor. While the Mystery Motor was a pure racing engine with limited production, the 396 was designed for mass production and street use. However, it inherited the fundamental architecture and, most importantly, the revolutionary cylinder head design from its racing predecessor. The Porcupine nickname, referring to the splayed valve angles, was a clear indicator of this shared DNA. The lessons learned from the intense, albeit brief racing program of the 427 Mystery Motor heavily influenced the development of the 396. This shared development path, meant that the 396 benefited immensely from the research and engineering that went into the 427 mystery motor. The focus on high airflow and efficient combustion, critical for racing success, was baked into the Mark IV design from the outset. Even though the 396 had a smaller displacement than the 427 mystery motor, it possessed the same inherent design advantages. This made the 396 a potent performer right out of the gate, capable of producing impressive power for its size and setting a new standard for Chevrolet 5.8s. The connection between these two engines highlights Chevrolet's strategic approach to performance development. The 427 mystery motor served as a high-stakes testbed. It proved the viability of the new big block architecture and its innovative features. The 396 then brought this advanced technology to the showroom floor, allowing ordinary consumers to experience a piece of that racing-derived engineering. This lineage is crucial to understanding the 396's significance. It wasn't just an engine, it was the street-legal manifestation of Chevrolet's most advanced V8 design concepts, born from the crucible of motorsport. Section 5. Engineering Marvel. The groundbreaking canted valve cylinder head. The most significant technological innovation of the 396 Porcupine engine was undoubtedly its canted valve cylinder head design. In conventional V8 engines of the era, intake and exhaust valves were typically arranged in a straight line, parallel to the crankshaft. This limited valve size and airflow potential. Chevrolet engineers seeking a breakthrough in volumetric efficiency decided to tilt, or cant, the valves. This meant that the valves were angled not only relative to the cylinder bore centerline but also sometimes relative to each other, creating a more complex but highly effective arrangement. This canted valve design was the reason for the Porcupine nickname. When viewed from the side with the valve cover removed, the angled valve stems and springs resembled the quills of a porcupine. More importantly, this configuration allowed for significantly larger valves to be used without interfering with each other or the cylinder wall. Larger valves, in turn, meant that the engine could ingest more air-fuel mixture and expel exhaust gases more efficiently. This dramatically improved the engine's breathing capability, especially at higher RPMs, which is crucial for generating maximum horsepower. The benefits of the canted valve cylinder head extended beyond just accommodating larger valves. The angled valves also contributed to a more optimally shaped combustion chamber. This improved the combustion process itself, leading to more complete burning of the air-fuel mixture, and consequently more power and efficiency. The spark plug could also be positioned more centrally within the chamber, promoting a better flame front. This attention to airflow and combustion dynamics was a hallmark of the Mark IV big block design, and set it apart from many of its contemporaries, giving Chevrolet a distinct performance advantage. The impact of this canted valve technology cannot be overstated. It was a fundamental reason for the 396's impressive performance and became a defining feature of all subsequent Chevrolet big block engines, including the 402, 427, and 454. This design allowed Chevrolet to extract significant horsepower from relatively conventional pushrod V8 architecture. It demonstrated a clever engineering solution to the inherent limitations of older designs. The Porcupine head was a true game-changer, providing a strong foundation for Chevrolet's dominance in the high-performance V8 arena for many years to come, solidifying the engine's legendary status. Section 6. The Checkered Flag Unreached. Why the 396 didn't conquer NASCAR. Despite its advanced design and potent street performance, the 396 Porcupine engine never achieved the level of dominance in NASCAR that some might have expected. Several factors contributed to this. Firstly, Chevrolet's official involvement in racing was sporadic during the mid-1960s. The lingering effects of the AMA ban and shifting corporate priorities meant that factory support for racing programs, including NASCAR, was often inconsistent or channeled through backdoor efforts. Without sustained, full-fledged factory backing, it was difficult for any engine to consistently win against well-supported competitors like Ford and Chrysler, who were heavily invested in their respective NASCAR programs. Furthermore, by the time the 396 was becoming widely available, Chevrolet's performance focus, particularly for top-tier racing, was already shifting towards even larger displacements. The 427 cubic inch version of the Mark IV big block, A direct evolution of the 396's architecture quickly became the favored engine for serious competition. NASCAR rules often favored larger displacement engines, and the 427 offered a significant power advantage over the 396. This meant that development resources and racing efforts were increasingly concentrated on the 427, leaving the 396 somewhat in its shadow on the major speedways. The homologation rules of NASCAR also played a role. To be eligible for competition, manufacturers had to produce a specific number of street cars equipped with the racing engine. While the 396 was a mass-produced engine, the specific versions optimized for racing might have faced challenges in meeting these requirements quickly enough or in sufficient numbers to make a widespread impact before attention turned to the 427. The rapid pace of engine development in the 1960s meant that an engine could be superseded relatively quickly in the ultra-competitive racing environment, especially if corporate strategy favored a newer, larger power plant. Ultimately, the 396 Porcupine, while a formidable engine, found its primary success on the street and drag strips, rather than the high banks of Daytona or Talladega. It served as a crucial stepping stone, proving the capabilities of the Mark IV design. However, its larger displacement sibling, the 427, with its greater inherent power potential, became Chevrolet's primary weapon in the NASCAR wars of the late 1960s. The 396's story in NASCAR is thus one of unfulfilled promise, not due to any inherent flaw in its design but rather due to a combination of corporate policies, strategic shifts, and the relentless pursuit of ever greater displacement and power in professional motorsport. Section 7. Street versus Spec Sheet, Unraveling the True Power and Myths. The official horsepower ratings for the Chevrolet 396 engine, particularly the high-performance L78 version listed at 375 horsepower, often told only part of the story. On the street and at local drag strips, these engines frequently performed as if they possessed significantly more power than their factory specifications suggested. Owners and tuners quickly discovered that with minor modifications such as improved exhaust headers, carburetor adjustments, and ignition tuning, the 396 could unleash a surprising amount of additional grunt. This disparity between the spec sheet and real-world performance contributed greatly to the engine's mystique and legendary reputation among enthusiasts. Many myths and legends surround the true power of the 396 Porcupine. Stories abound of stock or near-stock 396-powered Chevelles, Camaros, and Corvettes, humbling more exotic or ostensibly more powerful competitors. Dynamometer tests conducted by independent shops and magazines both then and in subsequent years have often shown healthy L78 396 engines producing well over 400 horsepower, sometimes approaching 425 horsepower, in stock trim. This confirmed the suspicions of many that Chevrolet was indeed being quite conservative with its published figures, a common practice aimed at keeping insurance costs down and perhaps lulling competitors into a false sense of security. Driving a car equipped with a potent 396 like an L78 Chevelle SS was a visceral experience. The engine's ample low-end torque provided strong acceleration from a standstill, pushing occupants back into their seats. As the revs climbed, the engine would pull relentlessly, accompanied by the distinctive deep-throated roar of a big block Chevrolet. This real-world performance, the feeling of abundant power readily available underfoot, was what truly captivated drivers. It was this tangible capability, more than any printed number, that cemented the 396's status as a premier muscle car engine of its era, capable of thrilling performance in everyday driving situations. While some tales of the 396's prowess might have been embellished over time, as is common with automotive legends, the core truth remains: it was a genuinely powerful and capable engine. The myths often stemmed from the surprising performance delivered by what appeared to be a standard production vehicle. The engine's robust construction also meant it could handle a fair amount of abuse and respond well to performance modifications, further blurring the lines between factory stock and street-tuned power. The 396 Porcupine's real-world performance consistently exceeded expectations, ensuring its place in the pantheon of great American V8s. Section 8. Building Blocks of Power. The 396's Enduring Big Block Legacy. The Chevrolet 396 Porcupine was far more than just a single successful engine. It was the foundational member of Chevrolet's highly influential Mark IV big block engine family. Its introduction in 1965 heralded a new era of performance for the brand. The core architecture and innovative design features pioneered in the 396, most notably the canted valve cylinder heads, were carried forward and adapted for all subsequent Chevrolet big blocks. This includes legendary power plants like the 402, which was essentially a slightly overboard 396, often still badged as a 396, the mighty 427, and the monstrous 454, and even larger displacement crate engines that followed. The design elements that made the 396 so effective, such as its robust block, strong crankshaft and efficient cylinder head layout, provided an excellent platform for future development. Engineers could increase bore and stroke to achieve larger displacements and greater power outputs, while retaining the fundamental strengths of the original Mark IV design. This evolutionary approach allowed Chevrolet to remain competitive in the escalating horsepower wars of the late 1960s and early 1970s. The 396 proved the concept and laid the groundwork, demonstrating the immense potential held within the new big block architecture. As the first widely available production version of the Mark IV engine, the 396 played a crucial role in popularizing big block performance among Chevrolet buyers. It made this advanced V8 technology accessible not just to racers, but to everyday enthusiasts through models like the Chevelle SS 396 and Camaro SS. This widespread adoption helped to solidify Chevrolet's image as a leader in V8 performance. The positive experiences and strong reputation built by the 396 created a loyal following for Chevrolet big blocks, a following that eagerly anticipated and embraced the larger, more powerful versions that followed in its footsteps. The long-term influence of the 396 on Chevrolet's performance engine program is undeniable. It set a new standard for Chevrolet 58S and established a design lineage that would dominate drag strips, power iconic muscle cars, and even find its way into trucks and marine applications for decades. Many of the engineering principles validated by the 396 continue to influence performance engine design even today. Its legacy is not just in the cars it powered, but in the subsequent generations of powerful and reliable big block engines that it spawned, forever cementing its importance in Chevrolet's rich automotive history. Section 9. The Porcupine's Enduring Echo. Reflecting on a Chevrolet icon. The Chevrolet 396 Porcupine engine stands as a true icon in the annals of American automotive history. Its introduction marked a pivotal moment for Chevrolet, signaling a bold step into the high-stakes performance battles of the 1960s. More than just a collection of cast iron and steel, the 396 embodied a spirit of innovation and raw power. Its unique canted valve cylinder head design, which earned it the memorable Porcupine nickname, was a testament to Chevrolet's engineering prowess. This design provided a tangible performance advantage, allowing the engine to breathe more efficiently and produce impressive horsepower and torque figures that often surpassed its conservative factory ratings. The enduring appeal of the 396 Porcupine to collectors and automotive enthusiasts today, nearly 6 decades after its debut, speaks volumes about its impact. Cars equipped with this legendary power plant, such as the Chevelle SS 396, Camaro SS, and early big block Corvettes, are highly sought after. They represent a golden era of American muscle, a time when horsepower was king, and the rumble of a big block V8 was the soundtrack of the streets. The 396 offers a compelling blend of historical significance, robust performance, and the undeniable charisma that defines a classic muscle car engine. Many aspects of the 396's story remained untold or shrouded in mystery for years, from the true extent of its power output to the intricacies of its development alongside the 427 mystery motor. This air of secrecy only added to its allure. It became an engine that enthusiasts loved to discuss, debate, and dissect, trying to uncover all its secrets. The whispers of NASCAR limitations and the well-documented practice of underrating horsepower contributed to a legend that was part fact, part folklore, but entirely captivating. This mystique is a significant part of why the 396 continues to fascinate automotive historians and hobbyists alike. In conclusion, the Chevrolet 396 Porcupine engine was much more than just a successful motor. It was a cornerstone of Chevrolet's big block legacy and a defining force in the muscle car era. It introduced groundbreaking technology, powered some of the most iconic vehicles of its time, and left an indelible mark on performance engineering. Its influence can be seen in the generations of Chevrolet big blocks that followed, each building upon the strong foundation laid by the 396. The roar of the Porcupine may have first been heard in 1965, but its echoes continue to resonate powerfully through the world of classic and performance automobiles.